Belinda Aisbett from Supersphere. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Welcome to SPAA.
Thanks.
You're not the face of auditing. I know it's a terrible thing to say. You're not the face of auditing I was expecting to see.
Right. Okay.
Do you get that a lot?
Sort of.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I think auditing, if there was, even you said before, you went, right.
It's exciting stuff.
It's exciting
It
stuff,
is.
but it actually isn't as...
It's not as boring as people think.
No.
Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah.
Thank you. So what's the exciting part? No, I'm just kidding.
I've only got 5 minutes, so I couldn't get into that.
No, how's it going for you for this year? What are the main issues in auditing?
Yeah. Well, look, the main problem that we see in funds, and certainly what we covered off in the session, was the debt arrangements, and really is typically a lack of documentation that we see, and there's lots of gaps, and if those gaps aren't rectified, then it can be really big, costly issues for the client when they go to transfer the property from the custodian back to the super fund in terms of double stamp duty and CGT. And so as the auditor, we try and resolve and plug those gaps at the start of the event, and then that hopefully resolves the problems for the clients, but it's still an issue that we see fairly regularly in our audit files.
Who are you dealing with mainly? Are you dealing with a trustee, or are you dealing with their advisor, or...?
No, my business structure is that we typically don't actually have a whole lot of correspondence with the trustees directly. We have...
And why is that?
Well, because the trustees deal with their accountant or their financial planner, and then that accountant or planner will refer the work to us to do the audit. So we treat the accountant as our client and the super fund trustee as their client. And so we will deal predominantly with the accountant, and in a lot of ways that's almost easier because you're dealing with somebody who's actually well versed with the requirements of super, and you don't have to then spend a lot of time explaining to the trustees why you need what you need as the auditor of the fund. Okay,
and so is the auditor, are you the... So I know you're the gatekeeper really, right? It's up to you to make sure everything works.
Yep.
So does that make you less popular than you... Are you like an umpire sort of thing? Like if the ATO is the ultimate umpire, if they're the third umpire, and they've got the ultimate say,
right.
You're like the field umpire.
In the popularity contest.
No, not the popularity, in the actual mechanics of the game, if it were a game, you're...
Yeah, well, look, we do act as umpire, if you like, on behalf of the ATO. We're actually engaged. We have a job to do. The ATO tell us what sections and regulations they want us to sign off on each and every year. So I guess, yes, in essence, we do actually play that role and provide that feedback to the tax office. If there's contraventions, there's certain situations where we have to report the fund to the tax office. So I guess you can look at it that we are really agents of what the ATO are looking at. Okay, and
how difficult is it to keep up with the constant change in regulations?
It is becoming increasingly more challenging. I mean, you come to conferences like this and you're still ticking stuff off going, I must look at that when I get back to the office, because you've just got a little snapshot of exactly what's changed, and then you've got to actually play that forward as to how it's going to affect clients. Try and put it into your planning so that the clients are aware of it before we come to do the audit, because we're typically so far after the event that the damage is done by the time we get there. So there is a lot to try and keep up with, and it is an increasingly challenging task.
But isn't that one of the great things about SPAA, is that because it's a technical conference and a learning conference as opposed to a rev-up conference, this is probably the best place to come in?
Absolutely. It doesn't matter how often you come to conferences, especially the SPAA ones, you always take a couple of things away, and you can then incorporate those into your work and your client service that you're offering. All right.
And so what would the highlight be of your...
My year?
Yeah.
16th of May.
Really?
Yep.
What happens?
The deadline was the day before, so I don't have to go to work.
Oh, the deadline. Well, thanks very much, Belinda. Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. You
Hope
too.
you enjoy the rest of your time at SPAA.
Will do.